to give some time for me to get some more people on because two more people just jumped
Is it
on.
recording here? All right, guys. All right. Well, this is a last minute call, recap to Celebration. So it looks like there's a mix of some people that were at Celebration and some people who weren't. So we want to just record this so we can recap. I know a lot of people wanted to share, which I think is going to be really helpful. So those of us who were at Celebration, you kind of feel like a zombie and you don't know what you need, right? Sleep, more e-shots, what's going on. So we've been in the same boat, but we got into action today already. Got on some calls, made a lot of text messages and reach outs and stuff. We're really fired up. So we just wanted to not only do a recap, but then end with kind of a plan of action, helping you guys get to your goals. But events are really, really key. And I know we had quite a few people that went to Celebration. It was their very first event. And then a lot of people that it was their first Celebration event. So they might have gone to a New Year kickoff or UIA or something. So I wanted to hear kind of some feedback, from some people, if it was worth it, what they thought, what they got out of it. So I might be calling on some people, or if you want to share, you can just write in the chat box. However, we also want to tell you guys what's coming up. So UIA, University in Action. I know you guys have heard me talk about this, but I really, really want you guys to consider going, or at least if you have teammates that you're bringing on and they missed Celebration, to tell them about UIA. It is a shorter event. It's like an evening, Friday evening it starts, and then it's a Saturday and Sunday. It's in DC. It's with David Woods, and it is a personal development training. You really get into the nitty-gritty of what you really need to do to connect. You kind of peel back some layers of what might be stopping you from your belief, maybe in yourself or in the industry or in any, in any area that might be holding you back. You learn a lot about personalities and how to deal with different personalities. I just think it's such a great event. So I would love to hear, in our group and everything, who is going to plan to go, so we can kind of start gearing up toward that one and planning some things out. I do have Rod and I both have the Grand Cayman trip, like right after. I mean, it's like UIA ends and then Grand Cayman is 2 days later. But I'm seriously considering going if my team goes. If a lot of my team goes, I'm considering going to just experience it with you guys. And then New Year kickoff, guys, the hotel rooms just became available. And there's 2 hotels, Sheraton and Hyatt, that's right there, right by the event, walking distance, easy peasy. So again, if you want to do Airbnbs and all that and Uber there, that's fine. If you want to do a hotel, you might want to look into booking it soon. And again, New Year kickoff is about mid-January. You can look in the back office. But events are extremely, extremely crucial. So Rod, I know he's calling Babe, but when we're do you want to say your thing?
She doesn't call me Rod. She never
I never do.
She only calls me Rod when she's mad at me.
It sounded weird when I said it.
All right. So guys, here's what I'm gonna give a quick takeaway, like kind of be Ron real quick, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Gina because I gotta take care of the girls. They're still wound up from Nashville. Based on the events, all right, I thought that this probably, and Mama Bear also could chime in later. I mean, I thought that this was probably the best celebration Gina and I have ever been at. I thought the stories, the training, the inspiration, I just thought all around it was amazing. Okay, with that being said, the one thing that was said on stage, the one thing that was said backstage, the one thing that was mingled in when you're talking to people, the one key thing here is you guys have to get to an event. Your business is not going to grow unless you actually step up and you sacrifice and you get to an event, okay? That's the main thing. And that was said repeatedly every single day in training. Everybody, all the top leaders repeated it. It's basically, Gina and I are going to now adopt the policy of one of the top leaders in the company, Abby O'Neill. She was a nominee with Gina for Spirit of Isogenics. She's always on the leaderboard. She adopted a non-negotiable event policy in their team. Events are non-negotiable. So going forward, if you are looking for me and Gina to pour into you, which I will give you, I promise I'll give this team 150%. I will pour into you and pour into you, but you got to pour back into me and show me that you're sacrificing and you're stepping up and you're going to an event. You're going and you're learning and you're soaking it in, because there's a difference in these calls. We could pour into you and you could be all fired up. But when you get to an event, it hits you in the heart, it hits you in the soul, and it really makes you think. Some of these stories, we can't repeat the stories to you and you get the same feeling about it. You could hear a story and that could change your life and your business forever. That's how important and how impactful they are. So we are going on events are non-negotiable from now on with me and Gina. That's it. This is the policy that we're adopting for this team. You have to get to an event going forward. Okay, end of story. Another thing is you have to figure out on your own your desire, your commitment, your dedication, and your focus. We heard from a girl on stage, a young girl who just started 4 years ago. When she started, she had no money in her account, and she asked her grandfather to pay for her 30-day system. Now she is 4 years later, Nicole Bean, she's one of the leaders of the Start Group, and she's speaking on stage 4 years later. So it's all about sacrifice, commitment, and your desire and where you want to run with this business. All right, so you need to find out in yourselves over the next couple of days what you want to do, how much you want to pour into this, and where you want to go with it. We're ready to go. Gina and I probably are more fired up now than we've been in the last 4 years. I mean, I blasted out 12 text messages today. I've already got feedback. I had 2 people ask me, oh, what should I order? I mean, it's there. You just got to be willing to go with it, and you got to be willing to sacrifice. Okay? So that's all I want to say. That's my big takeaway, but that's kind of a big thing for you guys too. So now you have to figure out on your own what you want to do going forward. I'm hoping I'm seeing everybody. I wish I could go to UIA, but I can't because I have the girls. But I hope that I'm actually going to see everybody at New Year kickoff. Okay? All right, let me turn this back over to Gina. I got to take care of these wild ones. Love you guys.
All right, awesome. So I definitely want to hear from people and to have some people share. But I wanted to share something that I really got out of the event. So this definitely was a different event for us. It was really exciting. Obviously, we were pumped up about the awards and all of that. And my girls were there and my parents. So for me, I just still feeling like the tension and stuff. I was just a lot of anxiousness. So, I have come away with thinking how I see with as you get to that certain level of leadership and all the responsibility and people wanting your time and to talk to you, how to manage that all. And obviously it was a little bit harder with having my parents who wanted my time and attention and kids and everything too. But I had a long talk with Randy Escobar today, and she just gave me some really great advice. And, she said, you just have to always make sure your team understands your time and your boundaries, and you just have to, go with those who are running and work with those and match energy to energy. So I'm going to close it today with an offer of what I'm going to be doing with something. But guys, what I wanted to show you guys a little vision trick is you can take your badge insert for those of you who were at the event. If you weren't at the event, honestly, get an index card and make one and write this out. This will be in your badge. And you can put it for celebration next year. So you have a year goal and what your badge will say. And then you put it on your vision board or in your office. You can also do another one for New Year kickoff. So you have kind of that like shorter term goal and then a 1 year goal. So that's something that everybody should really be really focused on and growing to. Because remember, if your badge says the same thing every time, you're not growing a business. If it's not moving, your rank's not moving, your cycles probably won't be moving. So you want to set goals like that. One big takeaway that I got, and I can't remember the leader who said it, but it was to avoid negativity, stay in action. So if you're in action and you're in momentum and you are talking to people and you're enrolling people and you're rank advancing them and you're doing 3-way calls for them and you're helping them get results and you're constantly making new connections, you're working on your Instagram, you're really focused, you don't have time for negativity and you don't have time for drama. And I thought that was really great. And I just want to really hone in on that because I have released a lot of emotional stuff after this event. And going forward, I really know it's going to be impossible to avoid drama. I've been talking to some other top leaders, and it's just how people get, people want to be right. They want things to go their way. You can't please everyone. I try to organize things, and I know some people might not like that, and they want this idea and all that. It's just very important that we are very careful about how we react to things and how we treat our teammates and how we're talking about situations or people or things, because that is what can create a lot of drama. And when you have drama, it creates negativity, and then you're not in action. Okay. So that was something I really got out of the event, and I definitely won't personally tolerate it. I'm going to avoid it. So if your energy is like that, or you're going to be gossiping about somebody, or there's drama, or you're not talking to somebody, or this happened, that's not where my energy is going to go, or my time is going to go. I'm going to go for the people who are saying, I am in action, let's run. So I'll end with kind of telling you what my plans are to help you with that. I do want to ask some people, especially if you are new to an event, to just give us your biggest takeaways, because I think it's different from somebody new than somebody that's been going to them, year after year. So Emily, I'm going to unmute you. Emily Russian was her very first event ever. She's just very new to the team. She just hit manager right beforehand, so she was able to qualify for that leader meeting as well. And I'm just so proud of you, Emily. You have such a great energy about you, and you're very self-aware, and you're really fun to be around. And so I just appreciate you, and I'm so glad you came. And I would love to hear what you took away from it. I'm going to mute my line so we can hear you better. Go ahead. I don't hear you. Did you guys hear her? Emily? Am I the only one? Did anybody hear her?
She's still muted, Gina.
No, she's not.
I had to connect my microphone when I got on tonight. I don't know why. I had to go to audio and check my speaker and stuff tonight. I don't know.
That's weird, because mine at first wasn't working either. Danielle, too bad you weren't at the event. I was going to say yours if you could share first while she's trying to figure it out. So, Emily, it looks like there's something that you have to connect.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. All right. A lot of technical difficulties tonight with the audio. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so hi, everybody. So I totally would have, prior to Nashville, started this off with saying, I'm super nervous talking in front of people, and I don't know what to say, don't make fun of me, but that's just not who I am anymore. And it sounds so crazy, but the last 4 days were just an insane eye-opener to myself, just in a personal development stance. I've always heard that events are something huge for everybody to go to. And sometimes you can easily get in your head and say, no, I'm a mom and I have small children and I work full time and I have responsibilities and I have no right to do this. And it's honestly just a load of crap. So I went to this event, and to be honest, not to put myself up on a high horse, I tried and killed so hard to get to manager, because there was something about the fact that they changed the qualifications, and if you hit manager, you got to go to this really exclusive leadership meeting. And I'm not competitive by any means. Sorry, Jack did not go to sleep. But I was not going to not go to that meeting. I was going to do whatever it took to go there, because I wanted to see the leaders that were speaking. Erin Sherman, who is one of my favorite millionaires in the company, she was speaking. She was the first speaker, and I just loved everything about how she works her business. She by no means hardly ever posts about her business. She just is so real and so raw and just talks to you about how she forgets, her purse at the grocery store. Like, she forgot something for Rory, her daughter, and right now she's doing her camper renovation, and I love watching her renovations. Her style and my style is the same thing. So it was really touching for me to get to see her on stage and talk to her in a way. Essentially, I didn't like talk to her face to face, but you get that sort of one-on-one almost. You almost feel like she's just talking to you. And all of the speakers were just that moving. So I was honestly like a little kid on Christmas morning about everything that was going to happen while we were at Celebration. I was excited for it. And I took a couple notes. So Abby O'Neill really just stuck it to us and said, like, events are non-negotiable. And so did, I can't remember her other name. She was so cute. But she said the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter if you're sleeping on the floor of a house with 20 other people, like, you get to those events. And having our team there and getting to stay with Natalie and Nicole, and we get to walk and talk the business while we're going there. And it's funny to me because every time you've gotten an Uber, they'd be like, oh, you're with the Isogenics people. Like, yeah, I heard all about it, but it's so fun because, yeah, I'm with the Isogenics people. Like, that is who I am now. One of the other things that sort of struck me, or I guess became a realization, was these millionaires are millionaires and they are the faces of Isogenics. But I loved that they all, almost to my knowledge, to my recollection, all reminded us that they all started with celebrating their one cycle a week and that $54, and that you can't forget that feeling because that's what makes you keep going and keep fighting. And I had a really big post this morning, and I left to go to Celebration, this shy little girl, and I definitely, my heart and my passion for this did not come down from the clouds. I'm like, I hit the ground running and I haven't lost momentum. And I can honestly say I usually would have lost my momentum by now because I wasn't at a meeting today and I wasn't hearing people speak, and it's easy to lose that. So one of the things, and I think Gina touched on this too, for what she wants to do is you have to quit forcing so many things because it's not going to work your business. If you force too many things, if you force conversations, if you force connections and you force your business on people, people aren't going to relate to that. And you have to be relatable. And who was it? I took notes on this. Abby O'Neill said the same thing. You have to be completely intentional and stop focusing on the outcome of what is with your connections and focus on the person that you're trying to help and save. And that's the only way you can be relatable to them. And I think I bubbled it. I think Lisa DeMeo, one of the sayings that just hit my heart was like, repetition is the mother of skill. And then Emily Vavra just got up on there and she was like, the business side is what scares me more. And she just was like, scared money don't make money. And I was like, yes, girl, like, yes, that is so true. And it's true because I am honestly I was afraid to own the fact that anybody that supported me, friends and family wise, I make money from. And you can't be that way. You can't have that mindset because they are supporting you. And if you walk around scared to talk about the income and talk about what you've learned and what you have from this, you know, you're not going to go anywhere. And so we had I want to make it a really big point that although the events are not negotiable, Gina went out of her way and made reservations for a private freaking room at the 404 kitchen. And it was not cheap. I mean, it was an expensive place to go. It was a nice restaurant. We had a private room right off of the balcony where you sat outside. And she went out of her way to make sure that we were there as a team, not at a bar trying to scream over a bunch of banjos playing. We were there in a room and we could talk and we could laugh and we could cry. And all of a sudden, as we're taking team pictures, freaking corporate walked in and they only went to 8 other teams, and those teams are on the map of Isogenics. So the fact that they even like came to our dinner and like they were there for a good 15 minutes talking to us, and they engaged in conversation like any other normal person. They were not corporate leaders, you know? And that to me meant so much for it being my first ever event and it being Celebration. And it was just a great way, not only for Gina to show us the love and appreciation, because she understands that if we weren't in this business and we didn't trust her enough, she wouldn't be where she is. She's blown up since I've met her like 10 months ago, and I am so excited to be on her team, and I know she's not stopping and I'm not stopping either. So I'm going to match her energy instead of her matching mine. That's the takeaway I got from it. And I just love you to death, Gina. And I just want you to know that I am so grateful for what you did, for getting us into that private room and doing that for us, because it meant more to me than you're ever going to know. Because that was just that family unit that I wanted to feel, and that connection to you guys that I wanted. I wanted to meet people on a different level. And I cried that night, and I had this really big goal that now has changed because I went back to work today and I honestly hated every second of it. So now my goal is to be able to leave my job by the end of the year. So I'm getting to executive by the end of the year so that I can stay home with my kids. And that's what I got from this. And I'm done.
Oh, yay, good job, Emily. And wow, you've really blossomed. Emily never wanted to talk before. Look at you go, girl. You definitely have changed just after that one event. So thanks so much for sharing. Is there anybody that wants to share something different, a different takeaway, or something that they think could help the rest of the team or that they want to focus on? I think, Flo, you had something.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was my 3rd celebration. I've only missed, I think I've missed one since I've started. Biggest takeaway, probably everybody got blown away by Zach Sloban's speech. And, you know, I used to go to these events and I still see people doing that. I think when we're beginners, we're just sort of like in that state of constantly feeling like we need to keep messaging people and working, and we're really not focused on what's going on like in front of us. So we're on our phones and we're texting our friends and we're just kind of fired up by the speaker trying to teach us something. And I remember doing this. I remember having just this sort of anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to work my business for 4 days. I have to keep messaging my people. And so what happened was I was not present. I was not really just in that energy. and I missed out on a lot of what was being taught, or what was really like even just being that energy, which for me, the takeaway and this year really was just about being present and listening. We have so much trouble listening. Like we want to talk, and we're not listening. And Zach Sloban, well, first of all, he just has such a gift with words. But what I really loved about him is his intensity and the energy that he conveyed. Every single one of the speakers did, but he did in a very specific way, where literally I have never seen so many people crying. And there is so much power into this. And knowing, the other thing that we do is when we just start, we look at all these leaders like they're freaking celebrities, and we're forgetting to think that they actually started and they were humans, and they messed up so many more times than we probably ever did. I never knew what Zach went through, and I was blown away. I was bawling like a baby. I have my boyfriend Adam next to me bawling. Like, it was so powerful to really just see the humanity in a person that obviously, has just risen above so much. And what I really took away was that they have grown so much, but they were us. They were us when we started. And I have a tendency, my biggest issue in building this business is I shrink myself. I live in that energy. Guys, for the first time, and I know that I did this right this year because I was so immersed in that amazing energy. As soon as I would step out and I would just I just went back to real life, I realized the negativity, the anxiety, the stress, the anger. I got to the airport and I could literally point out who was Isogenics and who wasn't. I was shocked that I had the ability to do that. I could tell, like, oh my gosh. And, sometimes you see people with bags and stuff, but literally just amazing. We have such a special culture. It's so unique, and people need this. People need to live in this energy. They need to hear Zach more, Zach Sloban, and they need to hear, like, even us, like, we have a story to tell. And for some reason, I feel like so many of us, we shrink ourselves. We're like, oh, we're not at that level yet. I'm not an executive. I don't get to tell my story until I'm like up there. You need to tell your story right now. So many of what the leaders say is like, why are you waiting to share? Why do you wait until you're at this certain weight, or that you look good, or you feel good? And we need to teach as leaders. We need to teach our customers those very basic things. And another takeaway again that I got from Zach is be bold. Be bold. Like, you have to talk to people in a way where it's going to wake them up. And don't be afraid to upset people. Just, you can be bold and still be loving. You don't have to be insulting them or anything like that, but ask them the real deep questions and don't be afraid. I actually, and I was sharing with Gina today, I reached out to this girl on my chicken list because, and I'm like, the entire day I was really asking myself, like, why is this girl on your chicken list? Why are you so afraid to reach out to her? And I just realized that they're just these just dumb things that we put in our heads. Like, why don't we just talk to people in a natural way and share with them the gift of what we have? Not everybody's going to understand our vision. Not everybody is going to really just truly embrace it. But if you're not sharing, then you're literally just shrinking yourself back, and you're not going to be growing. And I think for me, that's the biggest takeaway was energy. And Gina is always talking about match energy with energy, match energy with energy. Zach was saying the same thing. And be bold and stay in that energy and don't shrink yourself back. When people say this is too expensive, you know, I call BS, because I don't know if some of you were at the leadership meeting, and I'm sure I don't remember the name. I don't remember her name, but that woman who lived in that little settlement community, and like, that just blew my mind. She enrolled
Hannah.
women who are on
Yeah.
welfare.
Yeah, her story is incredible.
Welfare. So this is where I just realized, like, we're not going back to the why enough. We're not talking to people and being bold enough to share our story and really get into the why. This is not about the products. It's about so much more than that. So that was my biggest takeaway. And really just for me, and Gina, you shared that quote and I took a picture of it too. It's like, stop forcing conversations. If your energy's not matching, just let those people go. Bless and release, keep moving on. The more that I stay in that constant energy and I let the negativity go, the more I'm attracting people. I have had tons of friend requests of like these entrepreneurs and these couples that are doing amazing things, that have their own companies, but guess what? They all need a vehicle to fund their dreams. And this is where I get to help them now and get to know them and talk to them. And that's where you really just start growing something amazing, because that's energy for energy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think also, you know, it's very hard to relay everything. Obviously, those of you who have been to events in the past know that it's very difficult to relay even a fraction. But I think another big takeaway was just, I feel like everybody that's up there leading and that's doing really well, the common thread is that they work. They're workers. They like to work. So like Tara Romano, you know, she's a bartender. She had, you know, I don't know, she had 7 W-2 forms in 1 year, and she was always hustling and working anyway. It's like people that are workers, you know, sometimes we go to the person that, you know, we think, oh, they really need money and they need this, and they just don't have that work ethic. So I thought that was, you know, really good to see. And the woman you're talking about there, Tanis, she's driven 37 hours to get to events. Everybody in her community is on welfare, and she does not get the objection. She works with them and she gets them started. So I think a lot of times, you know, it's how we talk to the people too. I think like some of the leaders, so I want to do this for you guys, is just really helping. So if you guys have the audience and you're talking to people, but you need the help with, you know, sharing and casting the vision and helping them get enrolled because you're not quite as confident there, that's when you have to use me or your upline who feels confident in that. And I know Rod's talked about it before with a 3-way message or a 3-way call, but we really need to get good at that, because that's what the leaders who are growing teams, their people are using them for 3-way calls and getting them on the phone and utilizing their stories more. And we can all use each other's stories. So I got that too. Debbie, is there anything that you want to just add that you wanted to make sure people hear that you took away from this event? Yep, there you go.
You know, I've been to so many celebrations now, and NYKO, University in Action, Isogenics University, a lot of events in the last 9 years with Isogenics. And each one is just different and special. And the thing that I want to say is and I'm not naked, you guys. I do have a dress on. Somebody said I look naked. Is that in going continuously to the events, the thing that I took away that I want to share with you guys and the new people is how much, this morning when I had my prayer time, I was just thanking God, and it just makes me emotional. I was just thanking God, the integrity of this company. Like when I hear, you know, the one of my favorite things of the celebration this year is when Jim and Kathy and Eric sat on the couch and they shared their heart and they shared their past, and they were just like in our living room, you know, just sharing, you know, where they came from and their heart and what they want to do, and their struggles, and Kathy having cancer, and, you know, they're just like us, you know, they're human beings. And this company really has a heart for helping people. They are a company of service and servanthood and wanting to change world health and people's pocketbooks, you know. And whether it's, you know, showing these young millennials that they don't have to have a college degree and have so much debt of college to student loan debt to pay off, or me, like us millennials who have trouble with the retirement, you know, and building a retirement today in the world, that they have the answer, and they have the heart to help people to do that, change health and help wealth. And I am just so grateful and was so, again, moved by how much I love the culture of Isagenix. And one of the things also that in going with that was how many people get on stage and they thank God. You know, they're spiritual, they're grounded, they're a godly company. And the people that we attract into the company, they're not flakes. I mean, they're the people that have succeeded, and on stage, they thank their higher power. They thank God. You know, they have their stories of where they've come and where they, and I'm just, I just feel like this company is just, we are so blessed. I feel so blessed to be a part of this culture and where they're going. And our new Dr. Joshua Plant is just going to add so much value to our company, because, you know, for those of you that weren't there, this young man, I call him young, he's in his 40s, graduated #1 from Harvard Medical in a program that was a 7-year program, and he graduated in 3 years from working from Target. And his wife asked him, what do you want to do? You're not happy working, and what do you want to do? And he goes, I just always wanted to be a scientist. I just wanted to be a scientist. She goes, just do it. Just go be a scientist. You know, and he came, they lived in this little 2-bedroom apartment, and he went to school and said, I got to do this right away because I got 4 kids. And he graduated top in his class, #1 in his class at Harvard Medical in 3 years. And so many people came after him. I mean, when you have that type of on your resume, everybody's going to come after you, right? And all these big pharmaceutical companies came after him, and all these other companies. And he said, you know, and even some of the top pharmaceutical companies that came after him offered him a whole lot more money, because pharmaceutical companies, you know, are like multi-billion billionaires. And he said, no, you know, I know that true health is not about medicine. Cure for cancer and all this is not about medicine. It's about preventative health, nutrition, exercise, and your lifestyle. And Isagenix represents that, and he chose to come with us. So we are very, very blessed to have this brilliant scientist now leading our science department, and we're going to see some amazing things come out in Isagenix. You know, they're on the leading edge with preventative health, and that's what I'm all about. So I just left this celebration saying, wow, you know, they are right there. They're keeping up. They're hiring the people. Their integrity, their heart is for us, the associates. I feel like Isagenix to be a part of this company and work in our business and represent them is, I stand very proud in that. And that's what I took away from this event.
Thank you, Mama Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, I agree. That was just, you always feel the love from the top down when you go right to these events. And even just at the gala, thank you guys too for coming and cheering us on, but just hearing the graciousness of the people who, accept the awards. And I don't know, it just feels totally like the right place to me. So I hope you guys all felt that. So I want to kind of end with offering you guys something. Now, you don't have to do this. This is going to be for people who are ready to run and like no nonsense. I really, after talking to Randy Escobar today, I realized I have to just kind of pick out a couple people. I always do these big things and we have all these groups I'm trying to pour into, and it's not everybody's reciprocating that energy or into action. And I know a lot of people need to work on personal development, and Debbie's going to be, I've talked to her, she's licensed in this. And I said, maybe you could put together something. I'm sure, you can put something together affordable, and people might want to just dive a little more into some personal development that's preventing them from being able to get into action, because I obviously do believe that that is the first step. But if you feel like you've gotten that personal development part, you're, obviously we're always learning and growing, but that you're ready to really run, these recognition retreats, you guys, I don't know, you can't really see on my phone, but I posted it in the group and in the thread. I mean, I know that there's people in this group that all of them, there's something for everybody, but I would say probably the most common one's going to be the Crystal Executive one. I want you to look at these, tonight. Here's the thing. If you are truly like ready to run, because not everybody is, and some people might want to take their time and grow slow, and that's okay. But those people who really want to get ready and they want to run, I know people have said to me, like, I just want to know what to do. Like, give me a deadline, give me this step by step. And that's who I want to really offer this to. I'm actually working with a couple other leaders, the Leader in Action girls that I'm connected with, and we might do something together with all of our teams based on which trip people are running for. But I'm just going to tell you guys the one that I think is the most going to be the most common for the executive. So if you've never hit executive before, you can achieve executive for the first time. Okay, so if you have never hit executive before, this would be one you can get to. You have until January 19th of 2020. So it's 6 months, I think. Is that September, October, November, December? Yeah, maybe a little less. Let's call it 4 months. So if you have not hit executive and you hit it for the first time, and within 90 days you're paid as executive at least 6 additional commission weeks. So you obviously can't hit it for one time and drop. You have to do 6 weeks in there. So you can't hit executive the last week, guys. You got to have it ahead of time so you have 6 full weeks of being paid as executive. Does that make sense? We'll explain it if you guys don't understand that. But you can earn this trip to corporate, guys. 4 days, 3 nights. You get $750 travel allowance. You're going to have exclusive training. You're going to get Isogenic swag. You're going to get the tour of headquarters, which I'm telling you is amazing. I loved that tour. You're going to have your breakfast and your lunch. You'll have a recognition dinner. They give you free products while you're there. It's an exclusive training experience with corporate, meeting them. It's going to be great. If you are looking to run to executive, this is a really good goal to get to, because you have a reward, right? I'm going to also, there's other ones you guys can read, the 1 to 2 star retreat, and then 3 to 7 star, which 3 to 7 star executive would be Nicole Carter and Paula. YouTube would be able to go for that one. But I think that they're great to kind of give you that focus. So if you will be willing to get into action and do the do and talk to new people, I'm going to link arms with you and help you with it every step of the way. It's very hard to link arms with 40 people, but if I have 4 that are I'm literally ready to run, no excuses, I'm going to do it. If you're not there yet, it's okay, because it's not going to be for everybody. If you'd rather work on some personal development, work on connecting right now, that's what you need to work on. You guys know where you're at. But I wanted to just point out this new incentive. They just launched it. The trips are great. I'm going to obviously be going for the Top Achievers one. That's what my focus is going to be. So I'm going to be in the trenches with you. But if you are really, truly I'm going to get it done, and I just need to know what to do today, and you're going to do it. I'm going to say, okay, everybody, let's do this. And if you need me on a call, I'm going to be there for you. Just think about it tonight. We can connect tomorrow, but look at those contests and promotions. And again, I'm going to have some pre-qualifications. If you've never been to an event and you're not registered for an event, I'm not going to take you on. I'm sorry, because I got to work with the people that are committed to the events. If you didn't go to Celebration, you need to be registered for the next one. Little things like that, because I need to know that you're committed, because it's going to be a lot of my time. And from one thing I've learned from leaders is that you need to really, truly manage who you work with a little bit better, so that you're not just pouring with no, almost like people have to qualify for your time almost, because, people say, yes, I'm going to run, and then like never invest in an event. They're not on the team calls. They're not really posting. I mean, that it becomes a drain rather than something that's going to light me up. So I want to be lit up and get some people to these trips. Okay. So I'm offering that. And again, it's not an obligation. You got to feel ready for it. If you're not this year, work on some personal development, and maybe next year that's going to be you. We all start somewhere. So again, recap. I think the event was great. We didn't even touch on like so much. It was just one tremendous training after another, so many different stories. What I will say is that there's so many different ways to do this business. And it's really hard when people just want one way, because we're all different. So if somebody is looking for something that's like, duplicatable, and like we all want to just start everybody this way and it's duplicatable, that might work for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. Erin Sherman grew her business on Instagram only. She mostly enrolls strangers that she's never met. Some people really resonate with that, others don't. There was another woman, Susan Miller, who went up and she's drawing out. So she says she talks to everybody about linear income versus residual income. Maybe that's her network and it works for her. So we have to kind of find what works for us, what motivates us, what we feel in alignment with, and then use that. So everybody's going to be different. So it's really hard to train on one way to build your business. We just had our 300th millionaire, Amanda Ham, guys. Just so you know, Amanda was personally enrolled by Renee. You guys know Renee, my friend. Renee's just around the corner hitting millionaire. There's going to be a lot of millionaires coming up. It's just amazing to see. And every one of them has grown their business in a different way. It's no right or wrong. So it's just important to know that, because sometimes you might resonate with one speaker and not the other. So we have to take what we can. And that's what I loved about this event. It was such a great variety of ages of people. The way that they do it is different for everybody. So we need to really look at what we are and who we want to attract, and then expand our network from there. So when I wanted to attract more people that wanted to earn money, I realized that my network were people that were just wanting results and wanted me to coach them on their health, but they didn't have the vision past that. And so I had to create a better network, because I wanted people who wanted to have the same vision as me, not just wanted to have somebody coach them through the health stuff. So you have to really see who's your audience and how can you expand upon that. And then lastly, I'll just tell you, I'm going to get very bold. I love how Lisa DeMeo said that you should just be talking to people and be honest. So sometimes we're so afraid to talk to somebody because, we don't want to come off this way. We don't want them to think that, or maybe it's this. She said something so brilliant that I'll share with you. She said that she tells her team and her people when she started, she says, listen, I know this might seem forward, but I just really like your energy. And I think that you can do really well with something that I'm partnered with and that I'm doing. Would you be open to taking a look? And that's it. She said, most people say, yeah, I'll take a look, because you're honest, rather than just blurt it out and then think, oh, maybe I seemed pushy. If you start off with, I know this may seem forward, but there's something in you. There's something about you. I loved your personality tonight. Or, I see how much you're working and you're missing your kids. And I feel like I have something for you. Would you be open to taking a look? And when she said that, guys, I thought of so many people. I really did. So I'm getting bold. I'm reaching out to a lot of people. Don't ever think that when somebody says they're not going to do this business, that they're not going to do it. I will tell you that there's a girl in my neighborhood who I gave product to, who I talked to about this, who I remember us getting pedicures and I explained to her what I have done with this business. And she was all, hell no, hell no. And I said, well, if you ever want to do it, you know, let me know. She ended up enrolling with somebody from Boston and then letting me know and saying, I will never do this business. Scout's honor. I just felt like I should help my friend. You're doing so well. And I was like, okay, but you know, we're a community here. She's like, no, I don't want to be part of your community. I don't want to be part of your friend group. That makes me very uncomfortable. That's why I wanted to do, you know, enroll with somebody else. Well, guess what? Now she went to the event, and guess what she wants to do? Work with everybody in our community because she knows we're one team. It really worked conveniently for her. But the point of that is that here she gave me such no, 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 no. And I didn't want to push it and didn't want to push it. And then she did it all. But I don't really think that was my fault. She was a little bit out there. But my point is that she even admitted that she changed her mind. Things change. So just kind of keep thinking of who you can go back to, who you can revisit. I know you said you would never want to, but guess what? I just went to this event and this person said the same thing on stage that they didn't want to. And it just reminded me of you. Why don't you just take a look or ask them, why don't you want to do it? Sometimes people think it's a lot more complicated than it really is, or that it's going to cost them money. And then the very last thing is, if you were at the event, I want you guys to write a list of everybody that you think needs to be there. I'm sure that you thought like, oh my gosh, if so-and-so was here, they would totally get this and take off. Or this is exactly what my friend so-and-so needed to hear. If you felt that way sitting at that event, that there were people that should be in those seats next to you that weren't, you guys have got to write those names down, and you need to start rallying them to the next event. Because now you know how lit up you feel. Like you heard Emily, she's her first event. She didn't even want to talk about anything in the beginning, and now she's so excited. So look at how it changes people's mindset. And think about who you can invite and get excited about that. So I appreciate you guys being on and listening to the recap. I think, you know, the real thing is that I feel like every few months an event's very important. I personally want to start taking some responsibility to hold my own local events or some things at my house. I think that we need to start connecting and working together, whoever you're local with, even if they're not financially linked to you. People really work better in numbers and then create momentum that way. And just remember, when you are in action, there's no time for negativity. There's no time for feeling sorry for yourself. There's no time for drama. When you're in action and you're making stuff happen for you, just find what it is that you want to start with and just tackle it. Tackle it. And the last thing, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I always feel overwhelmed. The best thing to do is to make a list. Just make a list, like everything that's in your mind that you know that you want to get done. Busy moms, like I know Lauren, you're probably feeling overwhelmed after the event because you're like me, or want to get everything done, but you got the kids. If you're feeling that way, I want you to make a big master to-do list and just write it all down, because then it's going to be off your mind. It's going to be on the paper. And just tackle what you can when you can, guys. Give yourself grace, have it written down, and then when you have time, look at your list and what can you tackle today. And that's how you're going to get through it. Because what happens if you allow the overwhelm to take over, it cripples you and you don't do anything. And then you're falling behind and you lose the momentum. So just write it out and tackle one thing at a time. You know, if you're trying to build up your Instagram and your Facebook and connect and do an event and do this, just think, what can I tackle first? And then work from there. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks, guys, again for joining tonight. Get a great night's sleep. Tuesday's call will be 9 p.m. instead of 8:30. Chris Robinson, you better be ready. I'm putting you on the spot on Tuesday. You're going to share. So Tuesday night is going to be an ISA-Body call. I really think we need to do a team-wide ISA-Body. I really do. We're going to have the grand prize winner, Jennifer, hosting the call. She's going to go through her presentation that she did at the 2-star event I was at. Chris is going to share a little bit about his experience and how it's really helped him, and it's going to, you know, brand him more for his business. And so is Melissa Ante. She was a Canada finalist on our team. So we have like a lot of people to utilize their stories, and then you guys can get motivated to do your own challenge. And not only do your own challenge, invite people to do it with you and have this amazing transformation that you can inspire others. So that's going to be Tuesday, 9 p.m. Thank you guys so much. I'll drop the recording in our group. If you guys have any questions or have any ideas, or you're really excited about something and you want to let me know, just send me a message. And again, if you are wanting to run for one of those trips, let me know. Okay? All right, guys. I love you all. I'm super excited for the rest of this year. I'll talk to you guys soon. And don't forget, visualize, write down what your badge is going to say. Night, guys.